to set up the Economic Partnership Agreement with the European Union, which is an important step, and only West Africa has been able to do this.
The two leaders expressed appreciation for the support and friendship shared over the years.
He came for a private visit, but he's here. He's one of our leaders in the sub-region, good friend of Nigeria.
Alassane Ouattara also congratulated General Muhammadu Buhari for his victory and wished Nigeria a smooth transition. In the State House, Segun Lawole, NTA News.
The Citizenship and Leadership Training Center has called on Nigerian youths to adopt President Goodluck Jonathan as a role model. The center noted that President Jonathan has distinguished himself from the crowd of African and other world leaders through his deliberate acts of uncommon courage, selflessness, and patriotism. He described the president as an inspiration to future generations. The Director General of the Center, Michael Fawole, in a statement, stated that by accepting the result of the election and congratulating General Muhammadu Buhari, Jonathan saved Nigerians from unforeseen circumstances. The center also congratulated the President-elect, General Muhammadu Buhari, stated that his victory was a reflection of the will of the majority of Nigerians. President Goodluck Jonathan has described late Senator Uche Chukwumerije as a patriot and nationalist who left behind an impressive legacy of discipline, honesty, integrity, and hard work in public service. President Jonathan, while extending his condolence to the Chukwumerije family as well as the government and people of Abia State, also commiserates with the Senate over the passage of the senator. As the nation mourns him, the president urged his family, friends, and associates to honor his memory by continually upholding the values and principles which he lived for and never stopped fighting for till his death. The name Uche Chukwumerije is one that will always ring a bell whenever and wherever Nigeria's political history is in public discourse. The late lawmaker and nationalist was many things to many people depending on the circumstances of their interaction in both national and private capacities. This report by Adamu Sambo will be brought to you later. Speaker House of Representatives Aminu Waziri Tambuwal has expressed shock over the death of Senator Uche Chukwumerije. In a statement by his senior special assistant media, Malam Imam, Speaker Tambuwal knows that the late Uche Chukwumerije's deep knowledge of legislative ethics and practices, as well as his contribution to the development of the Nigerian legislature, will be greatly missed. Tambuwal, while extending the condolences of members of the House of Representatives to the Senate and the late Chukwumerije's constituency, prayed to Almighty God to give the bereaved family the fortitude to bear the irreparable loss. Still on that, the Information Minister, Senator Patricia Akwashiki, has described the death of Senator Uche Chukwumerije as a great loss to Nigeria. Senator Akwashiki said, as her former colleague in the Senate, the deceased was a patriot, hard worker who exhibited a common passion, devotion, and commitment to the Nigerian project. The minister said late Senator Uche Chukwumerije was a man of the people who was so recognized and honored by his people for meritorious service to the community and humanity. She said the Federal Ministry of Information commiserates with the deceased's family, the Senate, the government, and people of Abia State over the loss, and urged them to be consoled by the knowledge that he was a patriot who lived a fruitful life. In another development, the managing director of the International Monetary Fund, Christine Lagarde, says Nigeria's peaceful general elections will positively impact economic growth and development of the nation. The IMF board started this when she received Nigerian delegation to IMF World Bank spring meetings in Washington, D.C., led by the coordinating minister for the economy, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Finance and economic correspondent Cliff Ayoze reports.
It was a closed-door meeting between the Managing Director of International Monetary Fund, IMF, Christine Lagarde, and the Nigerian delegation made up of top officials of the outgoing and representatives of the incoming administrations. The introductory meeting was aimed at closing any gap in the management of Nigeria's economy. It offered an opportunity for the IMF boss to commend Nigerians over the peaceful election in the country.
It's a tribute to the quality of the team in place, tribute to the respect that people pay to each other, tribute to democracy. As I was particularly pleased today to have the current team led by Minister Ngozi and the incoming representatives both attending the same meeting as an additional indication of that sense of responsibility.
On the economy, Christine Lagarde described present administration's proactive fiscal and monetary policies as excellent.
The economic policies that have been in place, particularly in the last few months, has been really excellent. Whether it was the fiscal tightening, the exchange rate depreciation, and the general focus on keeping the economy afloat despite the major external shock suffered as a result of the lower oil prices. The right measures have been taken, the right policies have been put in place, and there is clearly now a lot of work that needs to continue to be done.
But what were the issues discussed?
Diversify our sources of revenue. That means continuing the efforts on the tax side. It means continuing to look at the cost of governance. It means looking at how we can spur the other sectors of the economy to create jobs.
The incoming administration was represented by former Federal Inland Revenue Service Chairman Ifeku Omagwe Okaro and Abba Kyari. From Washington, D.C., Cliff Ayozie, NTA News.
Back home, the Minister of State Defense, Colonel Augustine Akobondo, has enjoined the Nigerian Armed Forces to remain loyal to the incoming administration of General Muhammadu Buhari. Colonel Akobondo gave the charge at the Defense Headquarters while on a walking visit to parley with the Chief of Defense Staff, Air Chief Marshal Alex Bade. Defense Correspondent Mohammed Abdul Kadri completes the report.
Colonel Akobondo applauded the role of the Nigerian Armed Forces in keeping the territorial integrity of the country, while tasking them to remain loyal to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He harped on the need to strengthen inter-service cooperation and collaboration.
And I believe the incoming administration, especially headed by one of us, will also be passionate in dealing with all that to make sure that the armed forces become a more aggressive, more well-built, more funded, more well-equipped and robust force that will deal with all internal security issues.
The Chief of Defense Staff, Air Chief Marshal Alex Bade, assured the new Minister of Cooperation,
we are not loyal to individuals, we are loyal to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We must always remember that.
The visit of the Minister of State Defense to the Defense Headquarters is his first official engagement after his appointment. In Abuja, Muhammad Abdul Kadri, NTA News.
Now for some political stories. Abubakar Sarki Dahiru of the APC has emerged the winner of the by-election conducted for the Lafia Obi Federal Constituency by 74,892 votes to defeat the PDP candidate Joseph Kibu, who scored 70,302 votes. The report.
That Abubakar Sarki Dahiru of APC, having satisfied the requirement of the law and scored the highest number of votes, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected.
Commercial, civil society and gender advocate groups want INEC to investigate allegations of irregularities raised by the APC governorship candidate in Taraba State, Aisha Al-Hassan, during the inconclusive April 11 polls to ensure credible supplementary election. Correspondent Kenneth Nanem reports.
To further show solidarity and support to the APC governorship candidate, the groups urged INEC to probe non-use of card reader machine for accreditation of voters, collation of results in non-INEC designated areas, violence, complicity of INEC officials, and the use of security agencies to aid election by the opponents, as alleged by the candidate.
We will use this medium to implore for investigation into the irregularities that have marred 11 other local governments, for which she says she has evidence to adduce, should be looked into.
We are just asking that please INEC should endeavor to give us a level playing field where she will be able to participate, not just because she's a woman, but as a Nigerian, because we see these are some of the challenges women face in politics.
They also called on international observers to monitor the supplementary election to ensure a free, fair and credible election. In Abuja, Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Moving on, promoting practical Christianity, especially in line with the virtue of reaching out, is what the Catholic Women Organization Holy Trinity brand seemed to be demonstrating as they touched lives of some internally displaced persons in Waru and Games Village in Abuja. The women had time out with the displaced persons. The president of the Catholic Women Organization of Holy Trinity, Maitama, Mrs. Evelyn Chidolue, said the objective is to support the welfare and well-being of Catholics and non-Catholics. Items donated to the IDPs are bags of rice, tubers of yam, Indomie noodles, and clothes. This is NTA International. You're watching the news reaching you from Abuja. When we return, Nigerians protest xenophobic attack in South Africa. Please stay.
Sizzling? Yes, it is expensive, but it is a must-have.
Is insightful?
We are interested in seeing that this accord is respected.
Is informative.
Speed accounts for 50.8% of crashes.
Frontiers on NTA International.
Thanks for being there. Promise, they say, is a debt, and those who have conscience never fail to fulfill it. This is exactly what a Nigerian, Suleiman Hashimo, is demonstrating by embarking on over kilometer trekking from Lagos to Abuja in fulfillment of a pledge he made 2 years ago to honor the president-elect and congratulate him in Abuja. Dauda Muhammad captured the reception accorded him while on transit in Niger State.
Suleiman Hashimu, who has trekked hundreds of kilometers, arrived at Bidda, the ancestral home of the Nupes, and was received by a large crowd of youths, especially APC supporters. Suleiman was also received by the chairman, Niger State Council of Traditional Rulers, Esunupe, Alhaji Yahya Abubakar, who described the trip as a demonstration of the confidence Nigerians have in the president-elect.
We still have people who are dedicated, who have that loyalty, who have that zeal to accomplish something they put before them.
34-year-old Suleiman Hashimu, who hails from Funtua in Katsina State, said the journey is a fulfillment of a promise ago that if General Muhammadu Buhari gets elected president of Nigeria, he will trek from Lagos to Abuja for the inauguration. Suleiman Hashimu said he started the trip a day after the results of the presidential election was announced, treks an average of 50 kilometers a day, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and sleeps in any village or town once it gets dark. He speaks on what he will tell the president-elect when he arrives Abuja.
Some people said when you get to Buhari, call me, I want to talk to you. Some people will tell you, this is what, take this, go and give it to Buhari. Some people will say, please, if you get to Buhari, tell him that we need light, we need water, we need different kind of things.
Suleiman Hashim was also in Agay, where he was received by a large crowd and ushered in to see the Emir of Agay, Alhaji Yusuf Nu, who prayed for him and wished him journey mercies.
People will regard you, will respect you when you make a promise and fulfill it. That's the example this young man is giving.
It's a symbol of the younger generation to imitate, to emulate.
Suleiman Hashimu hopes to be in Abuja in time for the presidential inauguration on May 29th. In Agay, Dauda Mohammed, NTA News.
The man has demonstrated a commendable spirit of endurance. We commend him. The killings of Nigerians and other African nationals in South Africa has attracted the anger of some Nigerians under the aegis of One Africa initiative. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday reports that the group toured some South African investments in Abuja. This report.
From MultiChoice Nigeria, owner of DSTV, to MTN, and then to the South African Embassy, the group continued to chant solidarity songs to express their grievances.
This solidarity movement is to demand an immediate stop to the killings of Nigerians and other non-South Africans in South Africa. We fought the cause of Mandela. We fought the cause of everyone who had suffered out of apartheid. Today, Nigerians are experiencing the hardest of times in South Africa.
Their businesses are being thwarted. Their businesses are being looted. For what reason? For the singular fact that they have chosen to live in a country that is different from theirs. Is it an offense?
It was a peaceful protest until security operatives at the South African Embassy attempted to restrain them.
We came to see some people.
After some minutes of arguments, the group was allowed to proceed to the entrance of the embassy, where the South Africa's High Commissioner to Nigeria received their message and address.
Your pain is our own pain. We have time-tested relations with Nigerians. Yes, of course, a lot of problems are happening on the ground, but we say beyond this, let us remain friends. We are one people.
See our Nigerian police, because say they sabi wetin dem dey do. You understand? They talk to us, and they are ready to protect these people.
It is expected that the message of these Nigerians will be communicated to the South African authorities in order to put an end to what they described as crime against humanity. In Abuja, Adebola Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
As the Odeyewele epidemic continues to elicit reactions from home and abroad, newsmen have been informed that the victims may have consumed a local gin procured from same source. Doris Olumoko has a report.
The Commissioner for Health, Dr. Dayo Adeyanju, and his information counterpart, Mr. Kayode Akimade, while giving an update on the Odeyewele situation, said, through the collaborative efforts of the National Center for Disease Control and the World Health Organization, they have been able to establish that the disease is non-viral.
And that informed our decision to order for toxicology tests, which we believe will give us a clue as to what we are dealing with. But with the informant interview that we had, with the families and with even the survivors. It was clear to us that most of them have one thing in common, which is the consumption of the batch of alcohol over the weekend, because there was a particular person that consumed alcohol with other 4 people, and 3 of them, the 3 of them that he named, we found out that their name on the list of those who have died. And it is related with other survivors that we met, and then even with the families of those that were interrogated, those who are deceased. So they are actually leading us somewhere that this might be a kind of methanol poisoning, but we can't confirm yet until we conclude our toxicology test.
Dr. Adeoju said for now, 23 people have been affected by the epidemic, with 18 dead, while 5 who are already blind have been referred to the University College Hospital, Ibadan.
Because it's already affecting the facility utilization. Patients no longer want to come to the hospital because of the cultural delay that is being linked with this ailment.
While assuring that the situation is under control, the head commissioner said the fear of the spread of the disease should be completely eliminated, as the disease is not contagious. Dr. Adeoju, who affirmed that most of the victims of the disease are male, said government will continue sensitization and advocacy. In Akure, Doris Olumoko, NTA News.
Doris Olumoko there with our report. The European Union received new distress calls from boats in the Mediterranean as they meet in Luxembourg to discuss the crisis. Traditional leader of the Zulus in South Africa condemns xenophobic violence in the country. And a bomb attack on United Nations kills 7 people in Somalia's Puntland region. Details with Uchenwezu.
The European Union foreign ministers received new distress
in its meeting in Uyo, Akwa Ibom last month to give the code the second chance. The Federation failed to sign a fresh contract last Friday. Pinnick said there are few ends to tighten up between the Glass House and Keshi, but promised that the matter will be concluded this week.